Hello there guys, my name is MrYorkiesWorld. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are finally doing a full flight video again, and we are with Norwegian today, and we're going to be taking Norwegian Air Shuttle flight 1349 from Manchester, which is where we are right now, if the catering truck will get out of the way, all the way over to a very Christmassy Oslo in Norway, which I'm extremely excited. I've been provided with this scenery courtesy of my friends over at flightsim.com, and I would highly recommend their store if you're looking for any add-ons for Flight Sim. Head over to the link in the description, and you can also purchase the Oslo scenery in the description as well. There's a link in the description for that. So, we're currently at the stand, or at Gate 9, on the ground at Manchester, which is where this actual flight should have started at. It says Gate 9 on here. If we go on to FlightAware, so Norwegian Air Shuttle 1349, it's going to take about an hour and 47 minutes. We start at Gate 9, and obviously this is the flight plan. So our cruise level today is going to be 370, and I am extremely excited to test this out. We've also got Orbex, Vector, Global, and Norway installed over there. Well, obviously Global and Vector is everywhere anyway, but we've got Orbex Norway installed, so that should be pretty nice to see. We've also got Chris Bell, Black Marble, and Black Marble Vector, so that should look pretty nice when we get over there. It's going to be sort of sunset slash night time or late evening when we get over there, or at least it'll look like late evening. Not got the wheel well light on actually, so let me just go ahead and put that on, and we can jump into the cockpit. So the first thing we're going to do is go down and get some fuel information. So 7,971 kilograms of fuel today. We're going to go ahead and put a random payload in. We'll go with 71%. That looks pretty decent. We've got the catering sorted. That's on its way. We can go up, switch on the aft fuel pump, ISO valve, start the APU. Passenger signs can come on. And pressurization, so 370 today. And we can go ahead and sort out the IRS. Close those doors for GSX and request boarding. Get that started straight away. And I'm going to go ahead and set the auto brake to RTO, set up the MCP. And I think what we'll do then, after this Scandinavian, is we can request our own clearance.
4608 departing, runway cleared to ENGM via SA and Bravo 1 Yankee departure, and then modified, climb to flight level 60. Expect 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is 124.25. Squawk 6551.
It looks like that particular aircraft is also going to ENGM.
Bravo 1 Yankee, climb to flight level 60. Expect within 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 120.
Right, so we can go to FMC. So EGCC, Gate 9.
Scandinavian 4608.
So Scandinavian 4608 is also going to Oslo. So EGCC to ENGM. Our flight number is November Alpha X-Ray 1349. And we can request that clearance.
Clearance delivery, North Shuttle 1349 with ATIS request clearance.
NAX1349 cleared to ENGM via SO and NX1 Romeo departure, and then modified, climb to flight level 50.
5,000 feet is the initial altitude.
After departure. Departure frequency is 124.25. Squawk 4246.
Which gives us runway 23 right. Let me just select that on EFB so we know where to taxi. So 23 right. Not too far away from us. We've got a very variable wind today as well. 2, 3 right. Activate and execute.
NAX1349.
370.
Contact ground on 1.
Transition altitude should be 6,000.
Roger, 121.7.
Reserves of 1.04. And the cost index for Norwegian is 15. So we're going to use a 24kd rate with flaps 5. And I'm going to go ahead and just select that departure. So the Zone 1 Romeo departure, which is there. 2, 3 right. And let's just check for any discontinuities, which there's one there. Right, perfect. There aren't any more. So 147 is our V2 speed. LNAV and VNAV, and of course, runway 23 right is going to be 234 on the heading. So we can put that in. Perfect. And I think if we just go ahead and set the transponder to XPDR, give it a quick test, we can also put in some fix information. So ENGM.
TCAS test passed.
TCAS has passed. Got the radius rings in there now. And of course this is the route, so 2, 3 right, we come out, make a right turn, and go back on ourselves essentially. And if we zoom all the way out, we can't quite see the radius rings yet. Not a problem. Right, so with that, I will transfer the APU power. Door damper and the window heats are already on, so that's fine. We've already got everything else set. The auto brake is set to RTO. Heading and everything is set. The passengers are on their way somewhere. I think the buses... Oh no, that's the baggage carts. And the buses, there we go. The passengers should start boarding the aircraft very soon. We'll just hang about a little bit to see that. If the animated passengers are still working the way they should. Here they come. Always interesting to see whether GSX actually works. It seems to be. Wonderful. So, without further ado, I will catch up with you guys a little bit later on, once the passengers have been boarded and everything, and once we're ready to depart. Right, okay, so there we go. All the passengers have finally been boarded onto the aircraft. We can go ahead and close the doors. I'm going to request permission to start up and push.
Ground North Shuttle 1349. Request start up and
Auto throttle.
NGX1349. Startup is approved.
Startup's approved. We can go ahead and anti-collision light, hydraulics, fuel pumps. And we need to go down and just remove the ground connections as well. Like so. And we can stick that back on the legs page. This can go onto the takeoff ref page. And we can prepare for pushback. So we're going tail right. And our departure time should be, if I just have a look on here, departure time should be 1 minute past 1, and it's currently 12:55.
Hello, Captain.
Well, I don't think we're going to make it to the runway in time, but you never know. And I'm not looking forward to trying to control this aircraft as well. Would it be the NGXu? They still haven't fixed the race car what I would call it, sort of handling. But I'm sure we'll get used to it. I am slowly getting used to it.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Brakes are released. And we can go ahead and start engine number 2. And we're looking for 25%. Or in my case, thereabouts. And I think that will do. Okay, so engine number 1, same procedure.
Set parking brakes.
Parking brakes are set.
Confirmation for good engine start.
And we can't confirm anything until the engine's actually started. Okay, there we go, we can confirm engine start. Right. Okay, so the probe heats. Switch those on. The anti-ice we don't need. The APU power can be transferred. APU bleed. APU. Engines to continuous. We can set the flaps. And we can also set the trim. See those flaps coming down.
Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Right, okay, so let's just do a quick control check. So full left. Full right. And we can go down and full forward. Full back. And full left on the rudder. And full right on the rudder. There we go. Perfect. In regards to the EFB, we can get an airport map up, but I've already got EFB on my second screen, which obviously shows me everything I need to know. So I don't tend to really use the AFB, to be perfectly honest. But there we go. I mean, it's a lot more detailed, obviously, on mine second screen there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. On both sides, there we go. Right, okay, so let's just request permission to taxi to the runway.
Route North Shuttle 1349, request taxi.
NAX1349, taxi via Kilo, Juliet, Sierra, runway 23, right.
Via Kilo, Juliet, Sierra, to runway 23 right, North Shuttle 1349.
Right, okay, so parking brake is released. We can increase the power a little bit. Try and get the nose wheel properly aligned. It looks very, very slidey. It doesn't really look realistic. But nevertheless, we're off. Very, very sensitive is the steering. And I've learnt that if you try to sort of steer, bear in mind I'm using a joystick with a rudder axis on it, so it's like a twist joystick. I found that if you do it slowly, when you're taxiing like less than 10 knots, it tends to work a lot better. So this is going to be an awkward turn. I need to be over there, which is Bravo 6. So I'm probably going to mess this up. Very, very light movements. You saw the actual input that I'm giving this at the moment. It's hardly anything. A little bit all over the place. Anybody who watches these videos will know that I am not very good when it comes to taxiing around the airport. So just a little bit of information about this flight. Again, we are Norwegian Air Shuttle 1349 from Manchester to Oslo in Norway. We've just left gate 9. Our departure time is now, or it should be now. So we're a tiny bit late. But there we go, and the flight time should be about 1 hour and 47 minutes. Which is going to be a little bit more than that, I should imagine. According to SimBrief it is anyway, so we'll see whether SimBrief or FlightAware are right. And I'm just literally taxiing all over the place at the moment, so I do apologise. The runway's just down here. I'm using Rex Environment Force now, by the way. I'm no longer using Tomato Shade, because it had some unwanted effects with certain airports at night. It was causing really, really grainy textures. But as you can see, we don't have that issue now. Absolutely gorgeous scenery here at Manchester. This is the UK 2000 version of Manchester, and I absolutely love it. We've got an aircraft coming in to land, I believe. The 737. Looks to be landing on 23 right. Getting a little bit carried away with myself with the taxi here. But look at that, absolutely lovely. Trying to have a look on EFB. They might be landing on 23 left actually. Doesn't look like they're lined up for 23 right. So ATC should be contacting us anytime soon. We are literally at the threshold. There we go.
1349. Contact tower on 118.62.
118.62. North Shuttle 1349. Tower North Shuttle 1349. Holding short of runway 23 right.
North Shuttle 1349. Line up runway 23 right.
Okay, we can line up.
Lining up runway 23 right. North Shuttle 1349.
Again, really, really careful on that taxi. Just trying not to oversteer. Or over-accelerate, which I seem to have just done. Right, let's go down and switch TA and RA. Landing lights, taxi off. Probes on. Here we go. Perfect.
1349, wind 170 at 8, runway 23 right, clearance for takeoff, good flight.
Okay, clear for takeoff, 40%. Start the clock. And toga. There's 80 knots. V1 and rotate. Blowing about all over the place. The wind. Positive rate, gear up. Can't really afford to do too much manual control at this stage, while looking through the window at least.
North Shuttle 1349, radar contact. Continue via the Sierra Oscar November Echo 1 Romeo departure route. Climb to flight level 50.
Via SON Echo 1 Romeo departure climbing to flight level 50. North Shuttle 1349.
Okay, autopilot's in command. Lap 1. And flaps can come up. Very, very windy.
Speedbird 1342, identified, descend to 4000.
Look at that, lovely. I am going to go up and just switch the engines to normal, or the auto position. Runway turnoffs can come off, and the passenger signs can go to auto. And I'm not sure why we're turning left when we need to be turning right, really. It was... I don't know why we're going to go round in circles, that's very unusual. Very, very unusual. Let's just see if we can repair this by just going straight to the goals there.
Request direct to GOLES, North Shuttle 1349.
North Shuttle 1349, cleared direct to Golf Oscar Lima Echo Sierra intersection. Turn left heading 070. Climb to flight level 130. Continue on navigation.
The 130.
GOLES intersection. Left turn to heading 070. Climbing to
That way it saves us having to go all the way to the right and then back to the left and mess around like that.
349.
There we go.
1998. Climb and maintain flight level 80.
Climb and maintain flight level 80.
We are away.
998.
Not very much visibility going on at the moment. There we go. Because we're going through a cloud. Whoa! Standard on the pressurization. Got like 31 knots behind us at the moment, worth of wind. So not looking great. But we did manage to clear up that little bit of an issue there. I'm not sure why the aircraft started turning left when it should have started turning right. And if we would have left it as it was, it would have literally just gone round in a circle again. I've had that happen before. But there we are. Absolutely magnificent view. And we're going to be coming up on 10,000 feet very, very shortly. 210 on the altitude. I'm going to bug up the heading as well. There's 10,000 feet. Landing lights off. Passenger signs off. In fact, we'll leave it at auto. Just as we come above those clouds. Look at that, absolutely magnificent. Gorgeous, gorgeous view. And you can see on EFB here we've got the full flight plan. Go all the way up here. And that's our destination. Which is approximately, according to EFB, an hour and 47 minutes away. But we are up in the air, despite the wind. I had to fight the wind a little bit to actually rotate there. It wasn't wanting to actually let me rotate, so I had to really pull back, which led to a slightly overpowered rotation when we did manage to actually get the nose up. But I think we did pretty well. But look at those clouds, absolutely fantastic. Again, I'm using Rex Environment Force, along with Active Sky Cloud Art and Active Sky itself. But that's controlling all of the sort of lighting, the water, the clouds, the weather, everything. It looks absolutely magnificent. So, without further ado, I'm going to leave you guys with some amazing cinematics on the way over to Oslo, and I will catch up with you guys a little bit later on into the flight. Okay guys, so as you can see it's a little bit later on at the moment. It's currently 14:06 Zulu, and we've been flying for about an hour. And you can see down on the display here the 150 mile radius ring where top of descent is just there. And we've had a look on what Pro ATCX has sort of forecast, and we should be using the Ripper or Mike Star for ILS runway 19 right with the BAVAD transition, which if I bring it up on here, this is what that's going to look like if we just put the moving map on. So 111.30 at 193. So let's just go ahead and put that in. So 111.30 and 111.30 is in the standby, ready to transfer over. And if we just go down, and we've been asked to descend.
Descending to flight level 240. North
So 240. And I actually want to use a manual descent because I want to get down as soon as I can. It's a very tight approach. I'm just going to set the auto brake to 2. That's what we're going to use. And we're going to go ahead and put that arrival information in. So depart, ENGM, and we're going to be using Ripper 4 Mike or ILS 19 right with the BAVAD transition. Execute that. There aren't any discontinuities, so that's all good. And from there can have a look at what we need to put in. So elevation 675, so we'll put the Barrow onto radio, set that to 200. Like so. Again, auto brake 2 should be sufficient. And if we just go down, we can set flaps 30 at 144 plus 5. I'll put the course in, which is 193. And we'll put that in both sides. And where's that green banana looking? Right, okay. I want to increase the rate of descent. And reduce that speed down as well. We will bug up the heading. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's quite a tight and sudden sort of descent and approach. And if I select that on here, let me just switch off the moving map. But basically, we're at 9,000 feet all the way until here, which is like halfway through the arrival. We then have to reduce down all the way to 4,000 feet in this very short distance here. So I'm probably going to defy what Pro-ATCX says, and I want to be at a lower altitude than 9,000 feet at this stage here. And we'll work that out a little bit closer to the time. But look at that. Absolutely tremendous view. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, that is basically the crux of it. I want to be at a much lower altitude, a lot faster, to be able to carry this out. I think I did test it not so long since, and I did try to do it. And what happened was, we ended up overshooting the actual localizer. And by the time we got anywhere near the airport, we were overshooting, we were too fast, and we were too high. So I'm going to try and sort of delay things a little bit, reduce down a little bit lower, see if Pro-ATCX likes that or not. And if not, then we'll have to sort of make some manual turns and go around in a circle as we lose altitude, to make sure that we compensate for the fact that this is going to be a very tight approach. So without further ado, I'll catch up with you guys a little bit later on into the flight. Alright guys, so this is the difficult part. You can see at the moment, in fact it's better if I show you on here, at GM452 in between there and Bavad, we're at 9,000 feet now, and we've got to get down to our final approach, or missed approach altitude, which is 4,000, and it's a lot more difficult than what it seems. So what I'm actually going to do is, I'm going to see what they say, and if they tell us then to go down to 5,000, then we're going to start a manual descent. Because there's absolutely no way that I'm going to be able to accomplish getting down to that level in time otherwise, whilst maintaining under 250 knots. I'm going to have the heading set to the opposite direction. So about 345 I'll set it to. And we'll get ready for that, because we're going to be basically doing a U-turn in a moment, if we need to do so in order to lose some altitude. But apart from that, as you can see, we're at flaps 5, everything's looking good. You can sort of see the black marble lights down there through the fog. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. You can see that if we go down to the radios, we've set 111.30 on both of those radios. That's for the ILS. But as you can see here, still at 9,000 feet, and we've got to be at 4,000 very, very shortly. And I think on the FB here it does say this is like a holding position. So I'm assuming that that's what this is for, is to lose altitude. But I'm not actually an expert on holding. I'm not sure exactly how to do it in the 737 as of yet. It's not something that I've gone out of my way to learn. So this is going to be a learning curve.
NAX1349, descend to 5,000.
Here we go, 5,000 feet.
5,000. North Shuttle 1349.
With a manual descent rate. And as you can see, it's not going to be anywhere near enough to get down to 5,000 in that time. Although the green banana says different, but I'm still going to get ready on that heading.
NAX1349, descend to 5,000, cleared ILS, approach runway 19 right, transition VAV Alpha Delta. Descending to 5,000, North Shuttle 1349.
Definitely think just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and change that heading now. Just as we lose this altitude. So essentially what we're doing is we're doing a full turn. We should have waited while here, while Bavad, to be fair. But we're going to do a full turn and then come back on ourselves to about heading 165. Or we'll just click LNAV and it'll automatically go back in that direction. And this again is just literally to lose that altitude. Take that speed back to 210, back 205.
4116, maintain present altitude. Present altitude, Scandinavian 4116.
And once we get to a reasonable altitude, we will re-enable LNAV, which will hopefully take us back to the waypoint that we were at. Which should be Bavad, there we go. So through 6,000, so we can go to the altimeter, reset the altimeter. I'm going to use a little bit of speed brake just to help things a little bit. And I think we're safe now, so we can go back on ourselves to about heading 150 or thereabouts.
SAS 4116, climb to 8,000. Climbing to 8,000, Scandinavian 4116.
And let the aircraft take control again. And we should be back en route now to Bavad, which is... that's where we are now. Bavad's there. This is where we are. Hopefully this little trick's worked. Just take off that speed brake now, we don't need it. I'm going to go flaps 10. Speed to 200. Or 190 in fact, just to help a little bit. And then we should be back on profile. Beautiful, look at that. Speed's coming back nicely. Final approach speed is 148, and that includes the 5 knot increase, the speed, or 5 knot compensation. 142, so it's now 147. We did have a bit of an issue as well. I noticed that I forgot to turn the packs on departure, which is why this has all happened. So we've got auto fail and sort of the pressurization has gone blank. I did then turn on the packs, but that doesn't appear to have rectified the issue. But nevertheless, we seem okay anyway. Not too far away now. I just wish on the previous attempt, when I was trying to make this video before, that I would have actually done that and actually gone back and lost that altitude and speed using the same technique there. And eventually I would like to learn how to use holding positions, which I'm assuming is a pretty straightforward thing to do, but just something that I've not got around to learning. We're looking stable. You can see the ILS feathers there. And put the heading back to where it was now. And I think we've still got to drop to 4,000 feet, but that shouldn't be an issue. Can we see anything out the windows? Absolutely zero, apart from cloud and fog. Localizer diamond is white at the moment, so we're nowhere near, as you can see. However, the glide slope is sort of like magenta, is it? So 1450 is the current time. 1450 Zulu, and of course we've been in the air for an hour and 44 minutes.
NAX1349, descend to 4,000, speed to 200.
So 4,000 feet.
4,000, speed to 200. North Shuttle 1349.
Nice gentle descent. We don't need too much in the terms of vertical speed there. And of course, you can do the final sort of checks. So we've got the landing lights on, the engines are continuous, all the other lights are on. Cleared final approach, perfect, and the speed brake and auto brake are set. And we're at flaps 10. Speed's looking good. I think we're allowed up to 200 knots anyway, so that's fine. Getting ready with the VOR lock. And we should start to see it come in very, very shortly. I'm going to enable VOR lock now. Both diamonds are coming in pretty well. And it looks okay, so I'm going to go for approach. Just remembering 147 as the final approach speed.
Tower, North Shuttle 1349. On final, request landing, runway 19 right.
North Shuttle 1349er, slow to final approach speed. QNH
There we go.
1012. Cleared to land
147.
right.
And we're going to go
Approach speed, QNH
with the
1012. Cleared to land
Gear down.
9 right. North Shuttle 1349.
Which should slow us up a little bit. And flaps 15. And go flaps 25. And flap 30. Got some snow. Brilliant. Can't see a single thing. Arm the second autopilot as well. Not sure we really need the wipers on either. Should be okay. Not getting any build up or anything from the snow. Can't see anything apart from a few lights. There we go. Definitely snowy on the ground. So gears down 3 greens, auto brake is armed, speed brake is, oh no, speed brake is armed, auto brake is set. We've got all the lights on, the engines are sorted. Thousand feet. Still can't see anything. Not disengaging just yet. Speed's a little bit high, but should be okay. See the ground, but I can't see the runway. Or the lights for the runway either.
400.
Here it comes.
300. Approaching minimums. Minimums.
There it is. Taking manual control. Touchdown. Reverses.
North Shuttle 1349er, gate is left contact, ground control on 120.
Manual braking.
121.67. North Shuttle 1349.
And we'll take this exit there to the left. Right, so we made it. We made it on the ground. We were very snowy. Very, very snowy indeed, Oslo. And we've got plenty of Norwegian air around us. And I'm going to have to stop somewhere to get directions, I think.
430, hold your position.
Holding position 430.
Scandinavian 4035, hold your position.
Holding our position.
Let's just stop here a moment.
035.
430, continue taxi.
And we can put the flaps up. And just request which gate we're going to go to.
Ground North Shuttle 1349 is cleared of the runway. Request taxi to parking.
North Shuttle 1349er, taxi via Hotel Golf to Terminal 1, Gate 171.
Via Hotel Golf to Terminal 1, Gate 171, North Shuttle 1349.
Gate 171. Right, okay, so 171, let's get that up on here. 171. Right, perfect. So after landing checklist then, so I'm going to clean up before we carry on, so transponder. Lights. Let's just go to turn the taxi lights on. Runway turn-offs can come off. Engines back to the normal position. The probe heats can come off. Anti-ice. I think we can turn that off. In fact, no, we'll leave that on because it's still absolutely freezing outside. Evidently. APU can be started. And we can make it to the gate, which actually isn't too far away. Let's just turn off these. And switch over these. We need to turn on to November. Which might be a bit difficult because we've got an SAS in the way. I'm sure he might move out the way if we ask him nicely. Might just have to sort of try and avoid him. Go round him a little bit. Which is not going to work because we're going to hit him anyway.
Kilo 1, November Alpha 1, the runway 01 left.
By Kilo 1 November Alpha 1.
Yep, goodbye.
Lufthansa 863.
Nevertheless.
Scandinavian 4035, continue taxi.
Roger, Scandinavian 4035.
Trying to keep it nice and steady. I can get my words out. Nice and steady. Not too much speed behind us. Purely and simply because of the fact we're very icy on the ground. The gate appears to be literally there. So here we are onto Kilo. It's the first gate. Is right there. So although I'm not going to be able to see anything, but I'm not sure why I turned the taxi and the turn-offs off. Should really have left those on for taxi. A little bit of speed behind us. Telling us to go a little bit further to the left, so I'll do that. Even though the line is right there. Right, well that wasn't perfect, was it? But there we go. Right, okay. The parking brake is set. Go ahead and transfer the APU power. And we can put the engines. Let's just turn on the dome light so I can actually see what I'm doing. It better dim? Yeah, that'll do. I'm going to go ahead and connect ground power straight away. That's connecting to us at the moment. We might as well set the anti-ice off, and the hydraulics can come off. The passenger signs can come off. So can the anti-collision. And what we will do is connect ground power, switch off the APU, switch off the fuel pumps. The ISO valve can be opened. APU bleed on. And we can request deboarding. There are the steps, so we might as well go ahead and open the doors actually. We need to open the cargo door as well. Which doesn't appear to be working, and I'm not entirely sure why. Very unusual. Well, I can't open the doors, but welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Oslo, which finally went the way that I wanted it to go, which was actually successful. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to take a look around this airport now and really see what it's all about. I'm really excited to see what it's all about and to get on with my video review of the airport itself. So thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, favourite it if you really favoured it and you're that enthusiastic about it. That's entirely up to yourself. And share the video as well, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already for plenty more videos just like this one. Thanks very much guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.